Hello, I'm Tim. This is Ask SPS. Our focus is women in policing. What is their experience? How many of them are there? And what does the future look like for women in policing? We're getting perspective from the high-ranking to the newly hired on this latest Ask SPS. Our guest is an inspector, a higher-ranking one as well. We are with Inspector Novi Jette. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Formerly with VPD, now at SPS. You've got an extensive career, but something brought you here. So why is SPS a good place to be?
What brought me here was I live in this community, having worked in Vancouver for 23 years. And the experience that I had there, I wanted to be able to be a part of the build and take that experience that I had and to be able to bring that to the community that I live in. This was a groundbreaking opportunity to do something like this. In my entire career, I've never known of any other organization that has had to build from the ground up, and an organization that's going to be the size of Surrey.
Why is SPS a good place specifically for women?
For a number of reasons. We're looking at doing everything from a more modern perspective. We're looking at being part of the 30 by 30, which is having 30% of women by 2030. And I think that's really exciting and something that I really wanted to be a part of.
When you're looking at the numbers, you brought up the 30% as the goal. So right now at SPS, according to the latest numbers, the representation of women is at 20%. And so you do seem confident that the number will increase. What are the strategies to try to get more women into policing?
I think we're looking at a lot of different things. We're looking at what resonates with women. We are getting that information from the women that work here, but also from a recruiting perspective. What is important to women? Is it maternity leave? Is it having more options for promotions, laterals? What is it that speaks to everyone? This is a very unique opportunity, as I said before, that when you are part of the build, you have an opportunity to do things differently and get the perspectives of the people that are currently here that have worked in other agencies. And for women such as myself, speaking to other junior women and women throughout our careers, what resonates with them, and to try to bring that into the foundations of building SPS.
Inspector Jette, you are in the recruiting section, so you're getting to know a lot of those people who apply. What specifically are you looking for? And let's specifically talk to the women who are interested in a career of policing. What can they do to impress you?
That's a great question. We're looking at people that have the same values and vision of the SPS, and people that have compassion, have empathy, integrity, and are really good communicators that want to work in the community, want to give back to the community. That's really important to us. Policing is, in order to get buy-in from the community, you really need to have public trust. And public trust is built when you reflect the community that you work in, and that the community feels comfortable coming forward and addressing their issues, addressing their concerns. And so we want people that have that kind of, that drive and that drive to want to work with the community and to want to hear what the community has to say. So compassion, integrity, and really good communicators.
You just mentioned going back, say, 25 years when you were starting your career, that it was different. You didn't have as many women in the field, and so you would have started VPD. Walk us through to where we are, because as mentioned, we're at about 20% representation for women at SPS. But when you started with VPD, where was the representation at?
I don't know the exact numbers for the representation, but what I can tell you, it was significantly less at that time, and I definitely didn't see women in leadership roles at that time. It's hard to imagine yourself in those roles when you don't see other people like you in those roles. So in answering your question, I don't have the exact statistics, but what I can tell you is it's changed quite a bit over the last 25 years. And that's, for me, it's an amazing thing to see. And I know we're continuing to change, and we're continuing to try to encourage more women in policing and encourage more women in leadership. And I think that makes a stronger organization. And, we all have different perspectives, and a lot of this job is about having compassion and understanding your best as to what people are going through. And we may not have experienced what the people out there have experienced or walked in their shoes, but when you have compassion and you have that ability to communicate, it definitely makes that trust piece a lot stronger. And so going back to the soft skills that we were talking about earlier, about having compassion and having the ability to communicate, I think women really bring that to the table.
What would be your message to not just women, but also maybe girls in high school, because they're considering, okay, maybe I want to explore a career in policing. Maybe I want to apply to SPS and have Inspector Jette look at my resume and all that kind of stuff. So what would be your message to them to guide them? And it could be something like, well, looking at a certain Instagram account to try to get more information, watching a certain TV show, having certain conversations, the communication. What would be your advice for them to learn more?
I think my advice to them would be, come speak to us. Come speak to, if you're in high school, at the career day, there's always police officers attending. We are always open to meeting with students, with attending events at universities, colleges, at sporting events. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you're part of a sports team and you want us to come speak, please reach out to us. We're always happy to do that. And, from my personal experience, all I can say is this has been an extremely exciting career. This is so unique from any other job that I think most people, can get into, because within one career, you actually have several different smaller careers, and each section that you work in is very different and very unique. And so that's what makes it super exciting.
Are you able to walk back a little bit and kind of share what you've done in your more than 25 years of experience?
Sure. When I first started, I worked in patrol, and that's quite typical doing your first few years in patrol. I worked in the southeast side of Vancouver, the west side of Vancouver, as well as the downtown east side. And then I worked in the drug unit for about 5.5 years, and from there I moved on to the sex crimes unit for 7 years. After I got promoted, I went to professional standards, and then worked on a special project team, and then human resources, and I finished off in Vancouver in the major crime section. And then when I came here to SPS, I was part of the build of the employee services section, and I now just transferred over to the recruiting team.
You've got so much to choose from. So the final question to you, I'm going to put it to you. What is a career highlight? Now, this could be in Vancouver, this could be in Surrey, this could be in, many units as you talked about. So what is your career highlight?
Oh, that's a difficult one. For me, it's all about the team. It's all about the people that you work with. And that has always been the highlight for me, coming into work and seeing the people that I work with and having fun with them. But in terms of really the highlight, nothing sort of outweighs the opportunity to come to SPS and to be able to help build a team in a brand new organization, and knowing that this is the first time something like this has ever been done. So for me, that's been the highlight of my career.
Well, Inspector Jette, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it today.
Thank you.
This is Ask SPS. For more information, you can go to surreypolice.ca. I'm Tim James for Ask SPS.